So who do you think takes the #1 spot in the League of Legends for being the most hated champion ever? Is it gonna be Yuumi? Or maybe Yuumi? Admittedly, there's a couple of people who are gonna say Seraphine, but, well, let's find out.
League of Legends was released in 2009 with 40 champions.
That's like 100 years ago at this point. And those 40 champions were basic as fuck.
Since then, they've added 118 more playable characters to the game.
That's a lot.
However, each addition doesn't always go as planned.
Do not say bad champion and show me Aurelion Sol. I absolutely loved Aurelion Sol until Riot literally decided to absolutely gut his identity and push him into the realm of oblivion that no one cares about. I am still waiting until this day that they make his stars passively just constantly be toggleable on, so they constantly do the big rotation. One day, max copium, I know, but one day.
Sometimes Riot overlooks certain aspects of a champion, making them be too strong, too weak, or
Vandril's whole channel was based around Viego just existing.
sometimes the new champion completely breaks the game. Today we take a look at some of the worst champion releases. But before we get into that, this video is sponsored by Porofessor. Porofessor keeps everything you need all in one place. Like information about your teammates, opponents, automatically
There's so many of these League of Legends assistant apps that you can download and use, and they're all legal by Riot, by the way. Admittedly, Riot at this point is pretty much trying to cut down on them and make the in-game systems so good that you don't want to use them. But admittedly, that's never happening.
importing the best runes and more. In this tab, you get a simple quick view at recent patch notes, specifically showing you changes to the champions you actually
Bruh, if you didn't read the patch notes previously, you're not gonna start reading the patch notes in a separate tab. It's just not happening.
play, including changes to your runes and items. Also, their in-game overlay is genuinely useful, giving you live updates of how you're performing compared to others in your rank or higher, along with jungle timers on the map, and they even show
This is what Korea has on default, by the way. This is completely normal for them. It's not considered cheating or anything. It's absolutely amazing.
you how long until your inhibitor respawns, which honestly I'm surprised this isn't included in the game as is. If any of this sounds good to you and you want to start improving your League experience, download Porofessor for free with the first link in the description. Now with that being said, let's jump into the video. Getting started, in this video we'll discuss some of the more forgotten champion releases, but I can't make a video like this without mentioning Viego. Released on January 21st, 2021, Viego's concept was destined to have some problems.
Some problems. Again, Vandril's whole channel is literally just exists because Viego still exists.
Gimmick with Viego is that he can turn into every champion in the game, and this interaction leads to a staggering amount of bugs and general technical issues. At one point, there was this bug involving Viego and Anivia. This bug would cause all players to disconnect, and then the match history of the game would...
By the way, all the clips that you have seen currently are, by the way, from Vandril's videos. I recognize them because I watched them. The Viego one-shotting a tower, Vandril's videos. The Azir multiple towers, Vandril. And I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly. And this Anivia thing, I'm pretty sure it was also him.
completely disappear.
It's extremely simple. You all decide like here. Viego uses his E like this.
Oh, maybe it's Vandril. Vandril sounds fine.
And the game is gone. Gone forever.
This bug was discovered by accident, but I'm sure you can see how someone could intentionally abuse this if they're in a game that's not going well. Of course, this bug was eventually fixed. However, for a while, this was the story of Viego's life. New bug gets discovered, disable Viego, fix the bug, re-enable the champion, then rinse and repeat. Today, most of the abusable bugs have been dealt with, but initially, Viego's game-breaking bugs were so unpredictable that just to be safe, Riot banned Viego from being played in professional matches. So despite being added into the game,
a thing about professional matches is also the fact that the game gets auto-saved like every minute or something like that. So if a game-breaking bug or a game-changing bug happens, that you can load and avoid it.
In January, the champion wouldn't be widely enabled until June of that year. In April, Riot announced that Viego would not be enabled at any point during that year's MSI, one of the biggest yearly League of Legends tournaments. But after that, it was concluded that most of the real game-breaking bugs had been treated, and he was finally enabled.
I mean, just wait a patch or two, or wait until a new hero gets released and see what happens. I dare you. I double dare you. Because everyone knows what's gonna happen.
But if you want a real scope of how bad Viego really was, you may be familiar with the channel Vandero. This channel is quick to document the most recent bugs that are in the game. And since Viego's release, he has uploaded over 30 videos featuring...
if you don't know what that is Viego having a billion Aurelion Sol passive orbs around him.
Uploaded over 30 videos featuring Viego. Also, in case you're curious, I checked to see how Viego is doing in professional matches, and funny enough, in 2021, Viego was played in 453 different games and came down to an almost exact 50% win rate. Next up, for number 4, Tahm Kench. Tahm Kench was one of the most unique champion releases at the time. But when
I actually also found a bug with Tahm Kench. You know what was possible? If you timed it extremely perfectly right, you could TP back and Tahm Kench could swallow you, and you would be able to regenerate and buy items while Tahm Kench has swallowed you, and when he spits you out, you're no longer in the fountain. I couldn't replicate the bug when I tried to do it with a friend, but that was a bug, and I'm pretty sure no one else except me knew about it. I tried to upload it, but hey.
Champion was being revealed, people started noticing that Tahm would actually be perfect for trolling. This champion had an ability that could eat an ally and take them somewhere else. The intended use would be to protect your teammates, but of course it wasn't.
It's like Sandra stealing your blue buff at the start and just making it reset.
Long after his release that people started using Tahm in nefarious ways. A somewhat viral story in 2017 was a player who obtained a 0% win rate with Tahm Kench after playing over 200 ranked games. Essentially, this Tahm Kench is duoing with a friend and they are both committed to losing every game they play. So right off the bat, if you had the misfortune of being in this game, it's a 3v5. However, Tahm can pick one other player and disable them from participating in the game. In most scenarios, he'd pick his ally jungler. As you can see, he ensures that the jungler gets no camps and simply has a miserable experience.
Now that is dedication. You can hate this person, and I can't stop you. And honestly, right on you, I also would hate him. But you gotta admire the dedication here. 250 games. Not one person, but a duo effort. Now that is 100% commendable. They should have received some kind of special prize from Riot. They most likely got banned at the very end, but, they should receive something special from Riot, honestly. That's dedication.
Ultimately creating a game that would be almost impossible to win. I think the most shocking part is that he went over 200 games of doing this without getting banned. Regardless, you can see the potential of how Tahm Kench in the hands of a troll would be the perfect tool to ruin a game for their teammates. And if you look around online, you can find plenty of examples from people who had negative experience due.
Tyler 1, so funny how my own Tahm Kench can eat me and throw me into the enemy's team 100 times, but if I tell him he fucking sucks, I'm the one banned. Big true.
to Tahm Kench. All I wanted was one game after work before bed. And what do I get? A Tahm Kench who did nothing but eat me, run back to base, followed me around, and straight up said all he does is fuck with people in bot games to...
That Tahm Kench did you a favor, because he showed you that you need to be committed. Not playing retarded bot games, but playing ranked. It doesn't matter how bad you are, there's always a place in ranked where you are gonna be amongst friends. There is no reason that you should put work in front of League of Legends grinding. You have to have the mindset of a winner. Challenger is the goal. Gold, fuck that. Bronze, fuck that. Challenger. Quit your job, quit your family, abandon your kids. They wouldn't have a good dad anyway. It's time to grind. Women, who are they? Don't recognize it as a champion pick. Let's go. He did you a favor. He showed you that you need to get out of bot matches and set your priorities straight.
make them rage. Like what the actual Now, since his release, Tahm Kench has received multiple changes, and he is now unable to be used by trolls in the ways I just mentioned. Moving forward, number 3, Yasuo.
Yasuo?
And Syndra, Bard, Lucian, Azir, Yorick.
I tell you, Syndra's gonna be there. Syndra could take your blow buff and just throw it wherever the fuck she wants. Wait, can she still do that?
Skarner, and a few others. What all of these champions share in common is that they released in either a very weak or very buggy state, or both. They started off with bad win rates until later being tweaked to better fit their roles. Now some champions are different, like Bard. He was weak on release, but he was also a unique feller, and most players just...
Bard wasn't really weak on release, it just was one of the very first unique champions in League of Legends, because at the start when there were only 40 champions, they were all basic as fuck, you know? There was absolutely no personality to any of them. Like, I'm talking about Master G looked like, you know, he actually was special amongst them. Nothing had a personality, everything was pretty meh. Bard was one of the very first unique champions in how he can actually create value and do things. And, you know, people just didn't understand how to play him. It took a very long time until people didn't see Bard as a troll pick in any scenario.
Just didn't really get what he was doing. Like, sure, he's collecting the meeps on the ground, but why? But again, with the right buffs and more players understanding him, he's become one of the best supports in the game. And every other champion I mentioned has also found better footing in the game since their rocky release. Except for Skarner.
Just
Number 2,
dick.
Aurelion Sol. This one is kind of
My
different
baby!
than the others. Here's a champion that was essentially described to be one of the strongest beings in the game's universe, as well as literally supposed to be the
Zoe kinda like, you know, bitch slapped him technically in the lore, so I don't know.
largest champion in the game. Everything about his reveal and rollout was exciting. He was cool looking, he had an ability that could fly across the map, he could create this massive star and stun everyone on the screen. Of course I want to play him, and most people did. However, although on his release day he was technically in one of his strongest states, he was a clunky champion to control and had a big learning curve. Those who couldn't figure him out played poorly, and those who took time to learn him would show you that he was actually...
Dude, when you learned Aurelion Sol, there was almost no melee that was not literally your bitch. If you had Riley's Frost Scepter, it was a done deal. No melee without Flash, Ghost, or whatever could touch you. And that was in the time when people didn't actually use Ghost. There was only pretty much Flash and Ignite and, you know, Heal and Exhaust for supports and carries sometimes. But no one played Ghost. So, if someone flashed on you, you Voice of Heaven or whatever his ulti was called him away, and that's pretty much the end of the story. If you don't have your ulti, you kind of fucking die, but that's also a different story. But he was absolutely amazing. I got so many kills because people just wanted to chase, but it was impossible to chase him actually. When the stars just spun, you were constantly slowed. And Aurelion Sol used to get a lot of movement speed when he just walked in a straight line. So as long as you learn the secret art of not taking sharp corners, your movement speed would be way higher than anyone else's. So melees didn't have a chance against you. And at one point, you know, the melee's trying to get near you, but you're running away faster and faster, right? And at one point, they're starting to lose HP because those stars actually hurt. In the late game with the death cap, those stars hurt like a motherfucker, you know? And that was the thing. That was the thing. At some point, that melee turns around and stops chasing you. And at that point, you start chasing them. It was great.
Actually overpowered. And throughout the 2016 season, Riot slowly nerfed Aurelion Sol more and more until he wasn't nearly as powerful as he once was. It didn't take long for Aurelion Sol to go from one of the most anticipated champion releases to one of the least played characters in the game.
Yeah.
As of making this video, he is literally the second least played champion in.
Yeah, because no one gives a shit about him, sadly. The only people that play Aurelion Sol are literally one-tricks, and they're honestly kind of amazing because the hero's still kind of strong, technically, but it's a far cry from what he previously used to be. The fact that they made his stars have a cooldown so they can loop again in the big circle kind of just did the champion in. When he returns, though, oh, I will love it.
In the game. Number 1 is
Yumi.
Skarner.
Skarner?
Finally, number 1.
Wait, did we seriously not get anything?
Seraphine. I'll be honest with you,
Yeah,
I
Seraphine.
actually quite like Seraphine. But despite my opinions, Seraphine would go down as the most poorly received champion release.
She was literally a money grab. She was literally she had a no, not an Instagram, but she had a Twitter page before she was released. She was just a cash grab doesn't even seem right at this point, honestly. She was just trash. All around trash. Everyone hated her. There was nothing unique about her. She's literally just a fucking Sona in disguise at best of days, and that's pretty much it.
However, she didn't have one major problem that rubbed everyone the wrong way. There was just a lot of smaller negative situations that added up to one big negative situation. When it came to her gameplay, she was fine, but some people didn't like that her gameplay was actually similar to Sona, the only other music-based champion in the game.
Yup.
And staying on the music note,
And Son is everyone's favorite secret waifu, so that does not just go with each other good. It's actually really bad.
some players didn't like that she felt like one big marketing tool for KDA. And this one's tricky because I thought it was cool the way Seraphine came out, but I can see how people got a bad vibe from someone at Riot pretending to be a starving artist on Twitter. Although it was figured out that Seraphine...
Did you know that she was in Arcane? Because she's from Piltover. Yeah, she could have ruined Arcane also, but thankfully they decided to tell her to go fuck herself.
would be the next new champion, as her name was found within the game files, her social media accounts still gave people some confusion. Because, I get it, that's a cartoon character on...
It's like a 13-year-old girl trying to be popular.
...her Instagram. But that's a real cat. What's going on here? Additionally, on her Twitter, Seraphine would talk about her struggles with mental health and participate in mental health awareness.
We don't talk about that. You push it back inside deep in you and hope for the best, okay? Be fucking man. We don't talk about mental struggles. Remember, boys, everyone will tell you it's fine to show emotions and do all of that fucking garbage pussy shit. But the moment you do, everyone's gonna fucking laugh at you and lose respect for you and all of that good stuff. Like, you don't need to go far on the internet to see examples of that. So remember, when you have a choice between letting the world know about your mental issues and bottling them deep down inside, you should probably always choose to bottle them deep down inside and never speak about them or remember them ever again. Get a fucking one simple friend that you can talk to, and that's the best you can do, okay? But going to the world with your mental issues, well, yeah, that's an easy way to get more mental issues, you know?
Day. And you can see how that rubbed some people the wrong way because, well, she's
League of
not
Legends.
real. In the end, I think the Seraphine social media release was actually quite interesting. If anything, I think where they went wrong was that they tried to make her unironically feel like a real person, and it went on for too long. She tweeted for the first time on June 26, 2020, and would end up releasing as a champion on October 29th of that year. I believe that during that 4-month period, some people got sick of the concept, and along with being disappointed by her actual in-game champion, many people just flat out didn't like Seraphine. By the time her champion spotlight came out, it quickly became the
Seraphine's actually probably the most ununique champion nowadays. And man, Riot has done absolutely everything to make every champion feel unique, but Seraphine just feels underwhelming in literally every aspect, kinda? Or is it just me? I can't be alone. No one plays Set. Well, people play her, but still,
the most disliked video on the League of Legends channel. Now, these are just some of the more major issues. If you want a deeper analysis, you're in luck, because there's actually a couple hundred videos going quite deep into this topic.
That seems about right.
Advertised as a pit fighter. His skin makes him into a giant mech. Seraphine is advertised as a pop singer, but her skin makes her into a pop singer.
Her skin should have been a stripper. That's kind of an easy way to dodge all the bad stuff, right? Just make a Seraphine stripper skin and call it progressive, and we're absolutely fine.
But with that being said, let me know if I missed anything in the comments, and subscribe.
Ah, that's great shit. That's some great shit. Wow, no Yumi. I am extremely surprised. Seraphine was expected, but Yumi, no Yumi. Wow. What is this world? Anyway, like and subscribe.